everyone. It is now 11:01 a.m. Calling the roll for the Monday, June 15th Board of Control meeting. We have Dale Miller.
Here.
Nan Baker.
Here.
Trevor Macular serving as an alternate for Dan Brady.
Here.
Lenora Lockett. Here. Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer.
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. At this time, I will give a moment. If anyone has any questions regarding the minutes of June 8th, please speak out. I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes of June 8th. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes approved. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Okay, hearing no public comment, we'll move on to contracts and awards.
We have a new item under Contracts and Awards, item number BC 2020-334, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into a contract with Hill International, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for construction management, support, inspection, and material testing services for facilities. And it's for the period June 9th, 2020 through June 8th, 2023. And we would also like to update the funding source as $150,000 will be covered under the general fund and $300,000 will be covered under the CARES Act.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this item is the approval of a contract that went through an RFQ process. There was 5 qualifications submitted. Hill was selected based on their the high ranking of their score. They've met the diversity goals, which were set by OPD. And the reason this is broken out into 2 pieces is originally this was put out as a contract that would assist us with our regular facilities projects that were ongoing. However, in light of the improvements we have to make, we have decided to bring them on also to help be the construction manager for the work we're going to do under the on-call COVID building modifications. So that's why the split in the funding. So the $150,000 under general fund will last us for a few years. That's why the contract is going out to 2023. The $300,000 is anticipated to be spent by the end of the year.
Thank you, Nicole. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Nicole, this is Trevor. Do we have this contract currently, right? We have Hill International on an ongoing basis now, right?
I believe Road and Bridge has Hill from a couple years ago from their construction management, but we do not have them under a facilities contract.
Do we have anyone under a facilities contract, or will this be a new service?
This is new. So Matt Reimer has been hoping to get this contract for the last couple years, and we finally had put it out late last year to assist his department in light of, the amount of work they've been doing. So this is the first that we have done out of facilities for construction management. However, this is a typical thing we do for Road and Bridge from year to year.
Okay, further questions on this item from anyone? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
This is Trevor, second.
Seconded by Mr. Macular. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item number BC 2020-335, Department of Public Works, submitting an amendment to a contract with Terra Construction Company, Inc. for the Bradford Road Relief Sewer and Pump Station Elimination Project in the city of Brecksville for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $87,550.23.
Nicole English with Public Works again. This amendment is mainly for additional quantities that the city of Brecksville has asked to be included in the easement area of the pump station elimination. And there was some planned quantities that were mistakenly zeroed out on a previous amendment, which we're having to restore and pay now that they need to use them. In general, this is work, though, that's authorized by the city. It's their sewer district, user fees that are paying for it completely.
Thank you, Nicole. Any questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
This
Second.
is Dale.
Mr.
I'll
Trevor,
second.
second.
Okay, Dale got you there. Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. The next item.
Next item, item number BC 2020-336, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on a purchase order and to enter into a contract with Bros Wastewater Consulting LLC in the amount not to exceed $46,800 for licensed wastewater treatment operator services at various locations. And it's for the period May 25th, 2020 through May 24th, 2021.
Good morning, Tom Pavatt, Department of Public Works. This item, we're requesting approval of a contract with Braun Wastewater. It's a not-to-exceed dollar amount. This is for hands-on maintenance at two of our small water treatment plants within our sanitary division. The vendor would be doing general maintenance, reviewing and checking equipment, unclogging returns, doing water testing, flow, temperature, pH levels, et cetera. We did do this as an informal competitive bid, went to 8 different vendors, and this is the one bid submission, and we're going to go with Bradford.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Are there any questions? Oh, hold on one second. Lenore Lockett, please.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Lenore Lockett again. When I checked for vendor registration, I did not see the company listed as on the agenda, but there's someone named Joseph Braun that's registered. So just so we can, for the record, if draw that link, you can do contingent.
He is the owner.
Yeah, Joseph Braz is listed as the owner of Braz Wastewater Consulting.
He needs to work with the IG's office to be sure that he gets his company registered, not just him and his name. So we can take care of that contingent on. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
That's okay, Tom. Any of the questions from the board members on this item? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve contingent on squaring away with the Inspector General and the registration.
His stress testing, his assumptions, his methodology.
Do I have a second?
They had experience doing this, not at the same scale,
Hey,
obviously,
Ted.
at the moment.
Ted.
But their ability to
boy.
adapt and react.
Oh, someone's
and
listening to
leadership.
council. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second on the contingency of the Inspector General filing.
Okay, thank you. Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item number BC 2020-337, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract with MHC Software LLC for enterprise resource planning, printing integration, software licenses, support, and implementation services. And it's for the period October 27th, 2016 through October 26th, 2021. To expand the scope of services to add Document Express HCH software module and maintenance services for the fiscal office, effective June 15th, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $6,900.
Good morning, Janelle Green on behalf of the Department of IT. This item is to add into additional service for the ACH module for the fiscal office that will allow the secure transmission of ACH files to the whatever bank that they need to go to. This was an additional requirement as discovered by our information security team. It is necessary to ensure that our vendors and employees have secure ACHs that go back and forth from the banks. Of this item, the $6,000 of this item will go to the ERP fund. $900 would be from the ERP operations fund after the conclusion of this particular year.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on this item?
This is Nan Baker. I have a question.
Sure.
All right, so what, 900's going into the operational, what was the 6,000 for?
The $6,000 of this item is $5,000 for the actual work, for the securing of the files. $1,000 of it is for the initial maintenance that has to be paid right when, the work starts. So once you go into the second year, which aligns to the end of this actual contract, that's where the other $900 will go into the ERP operational, accounting unit, at that time.
Okay, thank you. Just a follow-up. I understand it's 6,900, and certainly in the vast funding of the ERP, it's a small amount, but it is still an unexpected amount. Seems like a very important part of what we need to do in order to secure those bank transactions. Is there anything else that you foresee that may be an unexpected cost related to this or similar to it? It's, not to be able to have secure transactions seems like something that should have been built in from the beginning. Why was this a surprise or not built in?
I don't have that information, but I can consult with the security team and the ERP team, as I'm not a part of those conversations, and have them circle back with you with a response on that later on today.
If you can do that, as I said, 6,900 is, a small amount if it starts and ends here. But if there are future unexpected expenses related to the ACH transactions that are now becoming apparent, that would be good to know.
Sure. I'll have the team get back to you later on today.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
This is Dale. Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item number
Thank you.
BC 2020-338, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, recommending awards on various purchase orders and enter into agreements with various municipalities in the total amount not to exceed $11,961.64 for the Community Diversion Program for the period March 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020 for the following municipalities. With the City of Cleveland Heights in the amount not to exceed $11,810.23, with Village of Orange in the amount not to exceed $151.41.
Good morning, Sarah Baker, Juvenile Court. This is two more of our CDP agreements, which is our diversion program that we utilize here at the court. And this is what's helping to keep kids from coming to the court on an official basis.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Are there any questions from the board members on this item? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
This is Dale. Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item number BC 2020-339, Sheriff's Department, submitting an agreement with City of Bracknell in the amount not to exceed $20,000 for inmate housing services for the period August 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Good morning, Tanisha Gates with the Sheriff's Department, requesting approval to enter into a new agreement with the Village of Bracknell for prisoner board and care services to end December 31st, 2020, with an estimated revenue around $20,000. I believe discussions have began as far as the plans for 2021 and in the future, as far as the prisoner board and care services across the board with all muni contracts, but I have not been provided that information. As far as the daily average inmate population for Bracknell for 2019, it was less than one inmate a day, and that, I believe, covers all the questions we had from the board prior to.
Okay, thank you, Tanisha. Are there any questions from our board members?
Yes, this is Dale. And could you find out, when they expect to have a plan as to what the program for 2021 is going to be, and get back to me and let me know the estimated date as to when that's supposed to happen?
Absolutely, Councilman. I have started sending information, well, questions and emails in regards to that, and I expect to receive something soon, so I'll definitely forward that information to you.
Thank you.
Okay, any further comments on this item?
Just one question, Nan Baker.
Sure.
It says in the backup questions that as of today, 2020, a total of 23 days have been billed for 10 inmates. This is dating August 1st, 2020 to the end of the year. So the funds that are before this August date, these funds are not to be paid for anything until we reach August. Is that correct?
Well, we are currently housing Braun inmates, so we will charge or bill Braun for those, but this agreement will not begin until August, and it will be at the increased per diem rate of $105.26.
Okay, so you have funding in place that pays for everything up until today, actually up until August 1st?
This is revenue generating, so Braun would pay us.
So collecting, I'm sorry, I meant to say
Yes,
collecting.
correct.
So we need not be collecting. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I will then make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
This is Trevor, second.
Seconded by Mr. Mackler. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item is a two-part item, item number BC 2020-340, Sheriff's Department. A, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Comm Technologies, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $13,658.08 for the purchase of 4 food vending carts to provide meals to inmates under isolation and quarantine. And B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption. Also, to update the funding source, it will be covered by the general fund, which in turn will be evaluated by the fiscal officer to determine if it qualifies for CARES Act funding.
Good morning, Tanisha with the Sheriff's Department again. These cards have been received and are being utilized to serve hot meals to the inmates in the isolation units. And as Andrea stated, we are going to close this transaction with the CARES Act. Prior to these carts being received or utilized, we were using older carts without the ability to keep the food warm or covered. And we would like to also state that we are responsible for providing all equipment up front before Trinity, the new food service vendor that will be coming in. And after they've come in, they will then in turn be responsible for maintaining and replacing any equipment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board on this item?
This is Nan Baker. Just a quick question.
Sure.
I'm trying to recall, so I'm going by memory. What did we approve in carts for the jails prior to this? I thought we had a request.
Yes, that was a time-sensitive item. We weren't able to get as many carts as requested by the jail from that vendor, so we had to make the difference with this item.
If I may follow up, there's only 4, though. You're only asking for 4.
Right,
so
this is the difference. I can't remember exactly how many was on the first, but I believe it's anywhere between 4 and 8 from the original a couple weeks ago.
All right. Okay, good. Thank you. I thought that we talked about this once before. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, hearing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chair, sorry, this is Trevor. I do have additional questions.
Sure, go ahead.
On that. With the, I believe, I heard that the food vendor, the new food vendor, Trinity, will be responsible moving forward, providing these parts. Is that correct? Did I hear that?
That is correct.
They're due to come in here soon. Is there, I mean, just from a timing reason, is there a reason why we're buying these for, with them coming here shortly if they're responsible for this type of equipment?
We have to provide the equipment, and this was something in the works prior to that being approved by Trinity. This was something that was needed, like, critically in the jail, so this is why we moved forward with this purchase.
Okay, and when you say we have to provide the equipment, you mean we have to from a contractual perspective with Trinity, or just from a operational perspective, we need these 4 carts right now?
I believe that's both, yes. Yes to both of those, contractually and also because we absolutely needed them.
So, I mean, just from if they're required to provide this equipment once they're in place, how would we be contractually required to, I mean, are we required to provide an initial set and then they're responsible to replace them as things go forward, or how does that work?
Stephen Witt with the Sheriff's Department. I worked on the Trinity contract. So the way this works is that we're responsible for providing all the equipment for Trinity to start operation. And these carts are part of that initial equipment that they need to start operations so they can deliver food in a safe and deliver hot meals to inmates throughout the pod. Going forward, Trinity is responsible for maintaining and replacing any of the equipment during the length of the contract. As part of the contract, Trinity also gives us about a $450,000 stipend to immediately spend to purchase equipment that we and Trinity agrees needs to be replaced immediately. So had we not purchased these, that would come out of that, but that's still money that we would have to spend to make sure that the equipment that we provide to Trinity is sufficient for them to continue and start operations. Much like the dishwasher that is a capital thing that we have to replace because we have to provide them a working dishwasher. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, very much so. Thanks, Stephen. My question then on the reimbursement of CARES Act money, if this was budgeted and anticipated as part of our obligation for this year, how would we be able to use CARES Act money for this?
So this wasn't in the Trinity contract as something that we need to provide. That what we worked with Trinity was prior to COVID and the entire pandemic occurring. So because we saw this as an operational need that, you know, we have less trustees and less staff moving around in the jail to provide meals, it takes longer to provide meals, thus they get in a traditional way of serving trays on normal rolling carts. We don't want to be serving inmates cold meals. We want to make sure that they're warm. We want to make sure that they're encased in these warming carts where they, you know, if somebody coughs in the hallway, they're not contaminating a whole cart of meals, that kind of thing. So it wasn't included in the initial Trinity contract. It's something that COVID happened. It's something that we would like to do regardless, but COVID definitely is the driver of these carts.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions based on that conversation? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
This is Trevor, second.
Nicole got you there. Seconded by Nicole English. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Moving on.
On to the consent agenda, item numbers BC 2020-341 through 342.
Give you a minute here to take a look and speak out if you have any questions.
This is Nan Baker. I have a question.
Sure, please.
All right. On BC 2020-342, 678, Jared, Director Hoos, I guess I was curious to know that this is a 2-month contract, and it ended October 20th, 2019. I read that we didn't pick it back up again until the end of December, when it was given to us it was submitted, I guess. And then we are now in, June, so that makes it over 7 months late in asking for reimbursement. And the delay was because of the ERP transition. I mean, is there more to that, or, I mean, is there a reason why we didn't ask for an extension of this, knowing that October came and went? We didn't get it really until the end of December, and we knew it was gonna take 2020 to, finally work through that process. Why didn't these dates change to extend the contract?
Councilwoman, this is Greg Huth. There was no need to extend the contract. He provided the services during that time for the arbitration.
Okay.
And that when it's done, it's done. It's finished. So it's,
We have asked for, those dollars at that time then, in end of October, or at the latest, the end of December?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that?
This contract ended at the end of October. If all was received, as you say, why didn't we just ask for the dollars then, instead of waiting till June of 2020?
Councilwoman, we first submitted paperwork into the system in December of last year, when we received the invoices from the arbitrator. And that's just how long the process seems to take.
I don't know if that's exact facts. I think we're doing much better. Somewhere along the line, maybe something got lost. So
yeah,
I can't see it taking 6 months. So somewhere along the line, something got lost. But Lenore, you want to take it?
Lenore Lockett, Office of Procurement and Diversity. In general, due to the closing out of the fiscal books, usually encumbrances and awards have to happen by the early part of December. Also, with the transition to the new ERP system, we were not processing payments on 19 funds that had been encumbered in 19. They weren't going to be paid in 19 because we were trying to get the balances for the ERP to be converted. So there was an early transition thing. So there were a lot of things that could have impacted. Carryover, when I was carried over 19.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be a lot of factors.
Okay. There's a lot of factors, but your point is taken, Councilwoman. Hopefully, since now we're up and running pretty smoothly, this shouldn't happen.
Director Huth, do you have any concerns about this continuing to happen? Are there any other invoices from 2019 that are pending and you're waiting and trying to get through the system, or is this the first and last?
I can't say it's the first and last, but I don't know the answer to the question. Let me check with my staff, and I'll get back to you sometime today or tomorrow.
Okay. It just doesn't look good for us to be giving such a long delay. I realize, again, this is only $6,800. Shouldn't say only, but in the scope of what we approve. But it is a precedent that's not good. And if we have others in the pipeline, we should know about that, instead of it happening right at the time that we're asked to approve.
I'll check on what I can see, what I can find out for you, Councilman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Any further questions on any of the items from the board?
Mr. Chair, this is Trevor. I just have, and I don't know if Paul Herdig was able to join us because he was in the Community Development Committee meeting with council, so I don't know if he was able to join, but I had a question just on his response to our advanced questions.
I am here. This is Paul.
Hi, Paul. How you doing? Paul, can you just talk about the difference between the two time periods? I saw your question to the advance, or your answer to the advanced question. I just didn't realize there were two different time periods. Can you just talk about what
Sure.
this 5,000 compared to the other?
Thank you for the question. We were required to stand up the call center very quickly, and so the first 4 days of operation, we were not able to do the kind of streamlined procurement that's required for a mission-critical, time-sensitive procurement. So the first 4 days had to be done with a direct invoice under Chief Carter's authority up to $5,000. Then starting on April 3rd, which was the 5th day, it was within his authority for mission-critical. That eventually turned into a longer-term contract that was approved by the board.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, no further questions. I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Trevor, second.
Lee Tucker beat you, Trevor. Apologize. Seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Items approved. Moving on. Other business?
Moving on to other business, we do have 6 mission-critical items from the Sheriff's Department. The first mission-critical item, recommending an award on a purchase order to Transcend Robotics in the amount not to exceed $6,460 for the purchase of a SWAT drone for crowd control, riot, and emergency response. And the funding source being utilized is the general fund.
Stephen Witt with the Sheriff's Department. So to preface this, we have 6 time-sensitive items here that are all directly related to the riot that occurred a couple weekends ago. All of these items were informally bid in the county buy-speed system for over 22 hours, included, and that's 8 business hours included in there. We also contacted 30 to 40 vendors directly for quotes. The buy-speed bid went out to 300 plus vendors. Out of that, we received 17 quotes for all these items. This drone is a requirement by our SWAT commander because it will enable us to better evaluate crowds, protests, and figure out where to position our officers in order to best control the crowd, protect our county buildings, make sure that the jail is protected. So it was deemed that that is an emergency need in the event that another incident of unrest or riot were to occur again, so that we can protect the county buildings, particularly the county jail with 1,000 inmates.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to amend today's,
Before you make that motion,
sure.
may I ask a question or two?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if it's considered until go ahead.
This is Dale, and could you quickly give me a rundown of what all 6 purchases are for?
Sure, absolutely. The first purchase, as we mentioned with Transcend Robotics, is for a law enforcement SWAT drone that will be used to evaluate crowds and in crowd control and other emergency response situations. The next purchase would be with Galls, and it is for tactical gears, including goggles, hydration systems for when officers need to be using gas masks. They can stay hydrated and limit injuries to themselves, along with carry bags so they can carry riot gear as needed. The next is with Lawmen's and Shooters. It is for riot helmets for the jail, as they determined that when the riot occurred, they shared a lot of equipment with law enforcement, and they determined that they needed additional riot helmets in order to ensure that when they share equipment with the jail or with the deputies, that they are covered in the jail, because we also had unrest within the jail during that riot. The next is with Protect Sales. This is for riot shields, holsters for equipment, and less lethal launchers and accessories for those launchers. The next is with Magnum Electronics for communication headsets for hands-free communication, so that the sergeants and lieutenants can be in constant communication when they have their hands full with equipment or shields or any of the equipment, and they're not able to operate their radios by hand. The final purchase is with Vance Outdoors, and this is for replacement less lethal munitions for our deputies in the jail.
I'm sorry, but that I didn't hear the last one. Could you tell me again?
The final purchase is with Vance Outdoors, and it is for less lethal munitions, which are tear gas, pepper balls, launched tear gas, and inert munitions.
Okay, well, I'm willing to move forward on the first 5. But on the last one, I'm not in favor of moving forward on that item until we've had a presentation, preferably to the Public Safety Committee, on what our use of force policy is and when such force is used and when it's not to be used, and how we make sure that the policy is followed.
Okay, I'm assuming that these have already been authorized by the department, so what we'll do for the time being is we will go ahead. Do you have something, Andrea? Go ahead.
Just going to read everything in the record.
Okay, well, before you read it, let's just make sure. What I would recommend then is we can go through the first 5 and then at least get those out of the way. And although the department did authorize the final one, we just won't be able to make any payment until that hearing, if that's good with you, Councilman.
So my order may be a little bit different from what Stephen read to the councilman. So I will go with item number 2. First of all, we have to approve them separately. They're mission critical, and then they cannot exceed $25,000, so might as well.
There's a couple that could. We can do them separately, or if council's okay, we can make that part of the approval that we're going to individually restore their budget after each one, or after we get over 25. I know 1 and 2 is only $6,000 each. Would you be acceptable to that committee meeting, or board members?
I have just one question before we do that.
Sure.
On number 1, the SWAT drone for crowd control, is that only to view? There's no other, nothing else those drones do except just as a camera?
It is just a camera platform. It does not do anything else.
Thank you.
How about we just do them one by one? That way and we can replenish the fund. So we already read the first one in, correct, Andrea?
Right. Do you want to?
So why don't I make the motion to amend today's agenda? So I'm going to make a motion to amend today's agenda for mission critical number 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So today's agenda has been amended for the first one. Are there any further questions on it?
I would like to just comment on this, if I may.
Sure.
I don't think that, I understand the reasons why we are amending and removing number 6, but I don't think that's a message to say that we don't want to see this continue. We only want more information about why and how it's going to be used. This may be something, if they're recommending that we approve this today, there must be certainly a reason for that. And if it goes into the safety committee or wherever we think it should go, I don't want to send the message that we're not open to hearing more about it. And I just want to make sure that, at least on my vote, that we're clear on that.
Right. Well, generally speaking, with mission critical, the department has already authorized and ordered it from the vendor. And what we do now is we're presenting it after the fact. So the purchase has been made, and now we're going ahead with so we can pay them. So certainly if you want to hold the last item for further conversation, I don't see that as an issue. It's just that we can't pay the vendor for those services.
Mr. Chair, as follow-up, this is Trevor. Have we received everything included in all 6 items? Has the county received all of these items?
Stephen Wood with the Sheriff's Department. We have not received all the items. We have made commitments to these vendors, and we've placed our orders for these items. But we've started to receive items, but we have not received all the items.
Okay. What about the particular one where Councilman Miller has expressed some concerns about?
So that one, the munitions are a difficult purchase because these munitions are regulated by the ATF, which requires the ATF to sign off on a transfer of the munitions from the vendor to us. So we had to put all that in progress. So the paperwork may have already been submitted by the vendor to initiate that transfer. And much like the COVID emergency that we had, last few months, every law enforcement agency in the country is looking for these munitions in order to prepare for unrest or to deal with the unrest that they're already dealing with right now. So that's why we've had to commit to making these purchases. But on the munitions, I don't know exactly what has been already transferred to the Sheriff's Department at this time.
This is Sergeant Tim O'Connor, SWAT Commander. I can speak on that if I may.
Sure.
Hi, Sergeant.
So like Mr. Witt had explained, across the nation, orders have been placed that all exceed the current capability of the munition manufacturer. The munition manufacturer has adjusted some of their production for those items that are most commonly being used by teams across the nation in response to these riots. The ATF does control and approve all of these items and their manufacture and distribution. Because of the situation nationally, the ATF has given a blanket exemption to the manufacturer that if a team who has previously purchased these items orders these items, then they are to go ahead and manufacture and ship as soon as available, and the ATF will approve that. Since we have previously purchased these items, we fall into that realm. However, due to the nationwide request, we sit somewhere in the wait list, and as soon as they are produced, we already have that blanket ATF exemption, and they will be shipped. However, none of these items on the munition list have been received to date.
Okay. Thank you for that update. Any further comments before we continue?
If, in terms of kind of holding this one item, what does that do for the wait list, if you will, or the order of the list?
Sir, my understanding is that the order has already been placed and it will ship as soon as it is produced. That holding this item in reference to this meeting simply delays how long the Sheriff's Department waits for reimbursement from the general fund, unless I'm mistaken.
We just won't be able to pay it until we get this permission.
Gotcha, Mike. Okay. Thanks, Sergeant. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, I'm getting myself confused. So I have a motion to approve this item. I'm looking for a second.
No,
I'm sorry.
we did the first motion. You had a motion to approve the amendment, to introduce it into the, on the agenda. Now we're going to do a motion to approve.
Now we're doing. I will now make a motion to approve this mission critical item number 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Nicole English. All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? The item's approved. Next one, please.
Next item, Sheriff's Department recommending an award to lawmen and shooters in the amount not to exceed $6,064.80 for the purchase of riot duty helmets for the county jail. And the funding source is the general fund.
Doing what with the Sheriff's Department? So as I mentioned before, these riot helmets are for the jail. There's about 60 riot helmets that we have hired numerous COs in the last year, and so we've determined that in the event that we have unrest within the jail, we need to have riot helmets for sufficient staff to deal with that unrest within the jail. And also when they're sharing equipment with the deputies, we want to make sure that the jail has sufficient equipment as well as covering what they're providing the deputies in law enforcement.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. I am going to make a motion to amend today's agenda again to include this mission critical item number 2 and to restore any funding as well. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, it's been amended and added. Any questions on this item? Hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English again. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Mission Critical number 2 has been approved. Next one, please.
The next item, I'm skipping number 3 because that was Vance, which is the last item that Stephen referred to. So we're going to mission critical item number 4. Sheriff's Department recommending an award to Galls in the amount not to exceed $6,422.50 for the purchase of crowd and riot control munitions for law enforcement and corrections.
Okay, I am.
We'll vote with the Sheriff's Department. To correct Andrea on that, this is not for munitions. This is for tactical gear for riot control, crowd control, and riot control for law enforcement.
He is correct.
Okay, so we stand corrected on that. Thank you, Stephen. I will make a motion to once again amend today's agenda for this particular item and to replenish its funding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Nicole English. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, it's been amended to and added to the agenda. Are there any follow-up questions from the board? Hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sure.
Just a quick question, if I may. I'm trying to read this as quickly as I can while we're talking about it. And back to item 3 and item 4, I don't see quantities in there. How many of the gear, say for number 3, are we purchasing for $24,466? What does that buy for us? How many?
I do believe we skipped that one for now, Nan. We're holding that one, but I'm sure they can follow up with that as well.
But then even for number 1, none of these have quantities, I guess. I would just ask, at least I'm trying to read it quickly. I don't see how much we're getting for the amount that is being requested.
Councilwoman, Councilwoman, you're correct.
For this item for Galls, we are purchasing 25 Camelback hydration systems and the adapters needed for our gas masks. We are purchasing 25 range bags to carry less lethal equipment and munitions, and 25 pairs of goggles for use when they're in environments that have gas and smoke and particles.
Okay, and I'm just asking because this is not familiar to me. Is that that number was a number that you feel is appropriate? And 25 doesn't sound like very many, but is that just adding to what we already have that gives us the amount that's needed? How did you come up with those numbers?
I would have to direct that question to the sergeant.
Ma'am, Sergeant Tim O'Connor, the 25 covers the SWAT operators, the medics assigned to SWAT, and the negotiators assigned to SWAT. The people that are more likely to be in chemical gear and in chemical situation for longer periods of time. With the number of SWAT personnel being smaller, that gives us that 25 to cover our personnel. With the normal uniformed deputies who are not SWAT members, they have a larger number of bodies, therefore they can rotate in and out to get the break time, to get the hydration, and to peel their gas mask off, whereas our SWAT guys are limited in number. We don't have the ability to flex like that.
Okay, good to know. I had no idea how you came to that, so thank you for the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
You are getting ready to motion to approve the item.
Okay, thank you. I will make a motion to approve this mission critical item number 4. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Before we go on to that next one, I'm sorry. Stephen, can you go through 1 and 2 real quick as well so we can knock that out? How many?
Absolutely.
Well, one's just.
So the first item with Transcend Robotics was for the law enforcement SWAT drone. That is just a single drone for the $6,460. The second item, which was with Lawmen's and Shooters, was for 60 Riot Helmets for the county jail. The item that we just approved, as I mentioned, with Galls, was for 25 hydration systems 25, range bags, and 25, pairs of goggles.
Okay, hang tight now. Let's get this. Andrea's going to read the next one in then.
Next item, item number 5, mission critical item, Sheriff's Department, recommending an award and a purchase order to Pro Tech Sales in the amount not to exceed $16,595, and it's for the purchase of crowd control and riot gear.
Okay, Stephen?
Doing what with the Sheriff's Department? This purchase with Protect Sales is for crowd control and riot gear for both law enforcement and the jail. Within that purchase is 3 capture riot shields, which are convex riot shields to hold like inmates in place while help arrives. 10 normal riot shields, 20 holsters for pepper spray and flashlights, 25 holsters for pepper spray equipment, 10 holsters for less lethal munitions, and 6 less lethal launchers for law enforcement and their associated accessories to make those operational. And this is in addition to our current stockpile of riot shields, holsters for equipment, and our current stockpile of less lethal launchers.
Okay, thank you. I am going to make a motion to amend again today's agenda to include mission critical number 5 and to replenish the mission critical budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, it's been added to the agenda. Are there any further questions from the board?
Yes, this is Dale.
Sure.
And I would also like item number 5 held. It goes along with the other one.
Okay.
This is Trevor, just a follow-up question to item 5. Have we received any of this equipment?
I would have to defer to the sergeant, as well as all these items are directed towards him and the wardens in the jail.
As far as the items that are designed to go to the law enforcement side, none of these have been received yet. And part of the priority on these is that several of our pepper ball launchers failed during the riot, creating the need for additional launchers. But as far as the law enforcement side, we haven't received any. I can't speak to the jail.
So no shields, none of this equipment's been received yet, to your knowledge? No?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think we've received any of this yet.
Okay. Councilman, if you want, we will hold this item as well.
Thank you. I would appreciate that.
Certainly. Next one, Andrea, please.
Mission critical item, item number 6, Sheriff's Department, recommending an award and a purchase order to Magnum Electronics in the amount not to exceed $24,999 for the purchase of tactical communications headsets and associated accessories.
With the Sheriff's Department, this request with Magnum Electronics is for the purchase of 25 Comtac 6 communication headsets, as well as the adapters to use those with our law enforcement radios, replacement headbands, and gel ear cups, so that they're usable with goggles and glasses and other eyewear.
Okay, thank you. I will make a motion to amend today's agenda for this mission critical item number 6 and restore its mission critical budget. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's been added. Got a little sound effect there from somebody. Any further questions from the board on this item? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, it's been approved and restored.
To read into the record, mission critical item number 3, Sheriff's Department, recommending an award and purchase order to Vance Outdoors in the amount not to exceed $24,466.50 for the purchase of crowd and riot control munitions for law enforcement and corrections.
So we agreed to hold it right now, so do you want me to?
Yes.
There's no sense continuing on that,
Right.
so.
We just want to, for the record, we're holding it.
Thank you. So number 3 and number 5, for lack of better termini, is being held. And Stephen, I guess it's going to be referred to a committee. I'm sure that'll be coming, and notice will be sent out to the sheriff team. Be prepared on that.
Yeah, I'll forward all those questions to the sheriff and his staff, and I will send a list of the items for the items and quantities for each one of these mission critical items to Andrea to forward to the council members.
Okay, thank you. So moving on, then we'll go to public comment.
Do we have any public comment at this time?
Okay, no public comment. Any other items from the board?
No.
Mr. Chamber, this is, Tom Pavatt with, Public Works. I was wondering if I could just clarify, I know there's a question about the, third item about the IG's office.
Yes.
I did just, get a response back from the IG, Andre Warner. She's the, Deputy Inspector General. She did, confirm that that vendor is registered with the IG's office. They're gonna update their website to reflect the W-9 that's loaded in Lawson, so there's no confusion. So they are fully registered under that name.
Thank you, Tom, for that clarification. Timing's perfect.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.